Hey, Facebook land. It's Sarah McLeodry from Synergy Behavior Solutions. Welcome today. We are at the end of December and almost to New Year's. We've made it through most of 2020, which I feel is a little bit of a miracle at this point. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to make New Year's Eve a little less stressful for mainly your dogs. We'll talk a little bit about cats too. Um, but so it's funny. I'm from Chicago originally, and I moved to Portland 4 years ago and started working for Synergy. And I didn't know that Portlanders loved fireworks. They love fireworks more than I really had any clue about. And so it's something that I mildly dealt with, really just for the 4th of July when I lived in Illinois. But here in the Pacific Northwest, people love their fireworks. So we are going to go ahead and talk about that. They tend to set them off on the 4th of July. They tend to set them off on New Year's. One of my clients had them set off during election day and is anticipating lots of fireworks also on inauguration day. So definitely something we need to think about this January. And so if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. Hi, Jessica. Say hi to Akuma for me. So we can if you have specific issues with your dogs with fireworks, so we can talk about it. First of all, if you know that your dog has an issue with fireworks and noise sensitivity, now is the time to call your vet. If they normally get medications, check to make sure you have your medications filled. Make sure that you have the proper dosing. Make sure they're available. If you do not, make sure you get them filled. You only have a day or two to get that done, depending on if your vet is going to be open or not. And all the vets are super busy right now, so please get that information into them as soon as possible so they can help you out and get those medications dealt with for you and your pet. And then we want to talk about some safety issues. It's a little different than the 4th of July, and which is that it gets dark a lot later in July than it does in January. So we normally recommend exercising and pottying your dog really early before it gets dark when we talk about 4th of July fireworks, but that's not going to be able to happen really for your New Year's fireworks. At least here right now, it's getting dark by like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Your dog is not going to be able to make it all night if that is their last potty of the day. I know for sure my dogs won't. So what can we do safety wise to make sure that if you do walk your dogs after dark, nothing happens to them? So we always recommend 2 leashes on 2 different pieces of equipment. So what does that look like for your dog? It may look like a buckle collar and a harness and a different leash on each one. Maybe I have one client that actually uses 2 harnesses sometimes. They use their nose work harness, plus they have a front clipping harness. It just depends on your dog and what they're comfortable with, but we do recommend 2 different pieces of equipment with 2 separate leashes. Over the years, I've seen too many leashes break, harnesses come unclipped, dogs slip out of collars. So in case your dog is to get spooked and bolt, you have good control over them between those 2 pieces of equipment. So that's first off. Second is make sure that they are up to date on their microchip information is up to date in case they are to get loose, and make sure that they do have tags on them. The number of pets that maybe get loose but could come back quickly and not have to go to animal control if they just had a tag with your phone number on them is really, really helpful. And make sure it's a phone number you will actually answer. Many years ago, I picked up a stray dog and it was clearly their cell phone number. And I don't know where their cell phone was at the time, but it was great that it was their cell phone number, but they were not answering their cell phone number. And I knew that the dog was close to their home. I just didn't know exactly which house it was. And that was clearly a cell number and not their home number. So if it's only your home number on your tags, put your cell number on also. If it's only your cell number, make sure there's a secondary number that people who might get a hold of you. I keep 2 phone numbers on my dogs at all times with their tags. So making sure their tags are up to date, their tags are on their collars or their harnesses. I personally like the tags that get riveted onto the pieces of equipment so that they don't get lost or get grabbed on trees, things like that. I also think that dogs hate the jingly noise on them, so I try to keep the jingles off my dogs as much as possible. So we have 2 pieces of equipment. We have their tags up to date on them when we're going out if we have to go out. I would actually try to avoid going out anywhere probably after 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I think the closer you get to New Year's actual time, the more loud it's going to get. But I have a feeling people will be shooting off fireworks kind of as soon as it gets dark. So that's that. Make sure your gates are locked on your yard if you do have a yard, and make sure they're shut. Make sure they're latched tightly. It's wintertime, things get blown open. So make sure that's all done. And when we talk about two pieces of equipment and walking your dog, I actually also mean in your own backyard, because the dog's ability to jump a fence is pretty impressive when they are scared. So even if you have a beautifully fenced backyard, I would still walk your dog on a leash if you have to take them out after dark on New Year's. So those are some of the safety options. So let's talk about inside the house. So if you have a dog who is fearful, and you know they are of fireworks, and they have a particular spot they like to go, set that spot up ahead of time. Make sure it's comfy. Make sure there's a water bowl there. They may not drink any, but make sure it's there. If it's big enough space that you can be in, have stuff for you to be there too. If it means spending time in your bathroom on New Year's, you may have to spend some time in the bathroom on New Year's. But imagine if you were terrified and you went to your safe spot, and nobody came to check on you, nobody spent any time with you. It would definitely make you a little more worried. So plan on spending some time with your dogs in their safe spot. One of our clients, they know it's for sure a closet. So they've done some work on actually soundproofing with the foam tiles that you can get on Amazon really inexpensively. They've soundproofed that particular closet. And then they've added lots of pillows on the ground to make sure that room and that space is as quiet as possible. If your dog does not have a particular safe spots you want to try to encourage them to be would be places without windows or skylights. So bathrooms tend to be where it's at, or interior rooms that have less windows. You want to close your shades. You want to start playing some music, or even sometimes loud. If your dog does not have reactions to loud sounds on televisions, then actually playing a movie that has lots of explosions in it. So, I don't know, shoot 'em up movies, action movies, things like that. Playing a movie like that loudly can help drown out some of the fireworks, and your dog may just think that those fireworks are part of the movie. So definitely playing that. That's what we used to do when we would do our fireworks night at Synergy in our facility. We'd always play a very loud movie. So setting up your dog's safe spot, having water there, making sure they're comfortable. Also, to having treats. Many dogs, when they're stressed, are not going to eat, but that's okay. I want you to still offer treats for them. I want you to go through that ritual of like, hey, I heard that boom too. Here's a cookie. And the cookie better be high value, because if they're going to eat anything, it's going to have to be high value. But it doesn't have to, they don't have to eat it. Don't make them eat it. But every time that there's a firework, I want you to just be like, yep, I heard that too. Here's a cookie. No big deal. One of my friends calls them boom cookies. One of them even calls fireworks, and drops a treat every time they hear one. It doesn't really matter what you say. It's just giving that ritual of here's a treat. I know this is not the best thing for you, but I heard that noise. Here's a cookie too. They may not eat them until later. That's fine. The other thing you want to look at, in addition to having that space be safe with food and water and some soundproofing, is also with the soundproofing, you can add some, besides a movie, other good options are music. One of our clients uses just a white noise machine with waves. You can also use Through the Dog's Ear, which is a great bioacoustically designed sound for your dog. On my Amazon Alexa now, they have a app called Calm Dog. So specific music for dogs to help them calm down. So that's another good thing to play. If you have one of those little, Amazon Echo Dots, or if you have a Google speaker, plug it into the place where your dog is going to hang out, so that they have that music constantly on. And it doesn't change. You really want consistent noise to help drown out more than something that's going up and down. So our client that uses waves as white noise, they actually have two different wave machines that work at different waves. So there's kind of a constant wave going on, which I think is great. All right, so we've got noise, we've got some food, we've got your companionship. And we hear a lot about like, can I reinforce the fear? You can't reinforce an emotion. You can reinforce behaviors related to that emotion, but really in that situation of dire need from your dog, that's not a time that you need to worry about this, okay? We're just trying to get our dog comfortable and getting them through the day. Other options to help them feel comfortable. Some dogs do really well with thunder shirts. If you haven't tried those, definitely worth a look. If your dog is noise sensitive in general, sometimes a Velcro on the thunder shirt is a little intimidating for them. So a toddler's t-shirt, or depending on the size of your dog, a small human t-shirt for an adult can fit them. You want it snug. The whole point of that is a swaddle snug effect. So definitely that. There's a product called Happy Hoodies, which is like little sweatband kind of, it looks like, for your dogs. It was designed for dog grooming, but a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll put cotton balls in their dog's ears and then put the Happy Hoodie on, or even just a set of like an ear muff or ear wrap can work for your dog, depending on if they're tolerant of wearing things on their body. That can be really helpful too. Also too, I want you to think about that this year is very different for a lot of dogs because of welcome to the pandemic. And so your dog who may have been really fine with fireworks previously may be a little worried this year because things are just different. We're a little more stressed, everything's a little crazy. So just because they were previously doesn't mean they will be this year. So definitely think about that. And also, as your dog ages, their hearing changes. So they may be were previously fine with fireworks and now they may have a problem. During July, one of our recommendations always is to go out camping. Go to a place where there's going to be no fireworks, go far, far away. Not really practical this time of year. So, but still a drive. One of our clients just gets in their car and they drive down the interstate for a couple hours and then drive back home so that they're just in the car. The dog likes to be in the car. It chills them out. And if there is any fireworks that happen nearby, they're going to be driving right through them and go really fast between them. So they just drive up and down I-5 while during the 4th of July. And I'm sure they're going to do that for New Year's also. So looks like a couple people here hanging out. Any questions that you have specifically about your dogs on New Year's? Personally, I will say I've been very lucky. All of my dogs have been fine with fireworks. I mainly have sporting dogs, but even my little terrier, little scruffy, fluffy guy, Bueller, he's very, very noise sensitive, but he's not bothered by fireworks. So I'm very lucky here at my house. They still will bark sometimes at him. I'll be like, yep, heard that. Here's a cookie. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's just that firework thing. We're just going to ignore it. Not a big deal. We also have, if you want more information than just this quick little talk, we do have a on-demand video on our website at synergybehavior.com called Fireworks Without Fear that Dr. Volley and I recorded back right before July 4th. And you can watch that video. It gives you many more in-depth ideas of how to work on training and how to look at firework phobia as a bigger picture. So that's a great download that you can do. You can rent it or purchase it to buy, and that can give you a lot more information. And then my last tip too is today is the day to go stuff your food toys and put them in the freezer. My dogs do not get meals on firework days. They will get all of their meals out of food toys, either frozen Kongs, licky mats, snuffle mats, things like that. So if you need to fill up your food toys, go ahead and do that today or tomorrow and get them in the freezer nice and frozen. So your dog, you have them ready to go on New Year's. And if you have any other questions while you're watching this, please feel free to leave them in the comments. We will get back to you as soon as possible. And we look forward to seeing you. If you find out that your dog is very, very phobic of fireworks, it's not going to just go away. So please, after the New Year's, reach out to your regular vet or even us or a fellow veterinary behaviorist to see about getting help. There is help that we can do, and so please reach out to get some help. It is not going to magically go away by the time either inauguration day or New Year's Day comes along. So please seek help for your dogs. There is a lot of things that we can do to help them. And have a great day. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments. My name is Sarah McLeodry. I'm from Synergy Behavior Solutions in Portland, Oregon, and we hope you have a fabulous new year, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks. Bye.